Welcome to another presentation from the SNHU History Department. I'm Learning Community Facilitator Natalie Sweet, and today we're discussing the value of studying history. If you are watching this webinar, the likelihood that you are taking a history class at SNHU is pretty high. You may be in the class because you are a history major, because you have an interest in the period that is being taught, or you may be taking it to meet a requirement for your degree. Whatever your reason, taking a history class will aid you beyond the classroom. In fact, studying history is an important part of a liberal arts education for three important reasons. The first reason is that studying history helps you understand how we arrived at where we are today. As you are learning, building context for an event can help you better understand that event. The same is true for today. We can better understand the conversations that dominate our news cycles, the issues that come up on election ballots, and the issues that arise at the local, state, and national levels if we look back to the past. For example, studying the reasoning and movements that led to today's Constitution can help us better understand and discuss our own relationship to the document, to our government, and to our fellow citizens. The Constitution did not always guarantee the rights that many of us enjoy today. Consider how radically different the voting population would look if voting amendments had not been added over time. Understanding how those amendments came about can help us also understand conversations about voting rights today. A knowledge of our past makes us better as citizens. A second reason to study history is that it helps us to better understand human relations over time. As I've noted in past webinars, history does not repeat. If it did, we could predict the future. However, we can detect patterns in activity. For some, detecting patterns helps them to understand the possible consequences of events. For others, studying patterns of human interactions develops their moral understanding of the world. For example, searching for patterns that led to the Holocaust and other genocidal events can help us better understand how humans have dehumanized one another in the past. Such knowledge can increase efforts to avoid patterns that indicate the likelihood of dehumanization occurring today. The third reason to study history is because it builds critical thinking skills. Think about the questions that your instructors often ask you: how and why. These types of questions make you think deeply about a subject. Think, too, about the topics that we have covered in our webinars. In learning about bias, you've come to see that each person brings his or her own perspective to any situation. By learning about historical context, you know that it is important to understand the circumstances that led up to a decision or an event. By developing thesis statements, you have learned how to succinctly make an argument to others. For example, too, by understanding that each individual brings his or her viewpoint to a situation, and by being able to critically assess the perspectives of your colleagues, you can be a better team player in the workplace. You will have skills that employers both need and look for in candidates for employment. As you can see, your history class will provide you with more than university credit. If you have any questions after watching this presentation, visit the SNHU Connect Exploring History Learning community. There, you can join a discussion with your fellow classmates and access other resources related to your history classes. Until then, I'm Learning Community Facilitator Natalie Sweet, and thank you for listening.